Good afternoon, everybody. We will be starting in 2 minutes, so please hold tight and feel free to type any questions that you may have in the comments facility. We look forward to starting shortly. Well, as advertised, it is 4 p.m. and we are starting our webinar. Welcome to our University Study Options webinar for GED graduates. And thank you so much for joining us. University studies in general can really involve a significant commitment of time and finances. There are many positive reasons behind the decision to pursue further studies. One of them includes improving your career prospects. My name is Sean Swartz. I'm the CEO of SK Education Solutions. We are the official office of the GED for South Africa, as well as the rest of Africa. The GED itself was established over 75 years ago. It was the testing body built on trust and recognition. And today the GED has grown to become the #1 recognized higher secondary certificate worldwide. The GED testing service is a joint venture between the American Council on Education and Pearson, which is a leading global education company. We have over 20 million GED graduates around the world that have gone on to attend universities in the US as well as other countries. That's what we're going to be talking about today, is really attending that university of your choice. The GED program is the only higher secondary certificate available in over 90 countries and accepted by nearly all universities in the US and many across the world. One of the benefits of the GED is its flexibility to test on each individual's schedule. The exam can be taken literally any time throughout the year, ensuring that you students don't need to wait for months for a specific exam date, and you can schedule your exams whenever you are ready. We are live on YouTube, and we have made the comments facility available for you to post your questions. Feel free to type your questions in the comments facility. We will monitor these questions and we will try our best to ensure that our expert panelists answer your questions. Joining us today is both Lindsay Calder from the GED Testing Service, as well as Dr. Kathy Plunkett from Nexford University. She's our guest speaker this evening. Dr. Plunkett serves as Nexford Chief Academic Officer. She has more than 3 decades of experience in education, starting as a teacher and a principal in a K-12 school, and then moving on to post-secondary education for the last 15 years. Dr. Plunkett has had leadership positions in both the academic and the business sides of an institution, serving as a campus director, a regional director, executive vice president of academic affairs, and director of regulatory compliance. She's very passionate about learning and about providing students with a positive educational environment for them to meet their educational goals and ultimately to succeed in your chosen career. So I think you're really in good hands now. Dr. Plunkett, thank you for joining us. We're very excited for you to share your knowledge with our audience.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. 30 years of time in education, strikes me, but that's what I've been doing all my life. And I am very passionate about ensuring that learners get what they need from education and that we can help them be successful, not only academically, but in their career as well. So I'm going to share my screen and talk to you a little bit about Nexford and about there we go. Okay, hopefully you're seeing my screen. But I want to talk about Nexford. I want to talk about our programs. And I tried to think of the things that specifically learners would be interested in knowing. So here we go. Yes, maybe here we go. Here we go. So we've done some introductions. Now we're going to talk a little bit about Nexford in general and what our learners think about Nexford. So our mission is something that spoke to me, and the reason why I came to Nexford. It's to enable greater social and economic mobility by providing learners access to high quality, affordable, dynamic, online education that prepares them for a global workforce. So we have learners all over the world. I believe now we're up to 100 countries that we have learners in, and that's really a special experience. Recently, we had a graduation in Nigeria, and it was a little overwhelming for me because the students were so excited, the graduates were so excited, and it was really exciting for me to actually speak directly to learners and see them, because when you're in an online environment, you don't have as many opportunities. So let's talk a little bit more about Nexford. So we have affordable tuition, right? If you're looking for a BBA program, you're going to pay about $105 a month. And if you're talking about an MBA, you're going to pay about $200 a month. We have flexible learning. And sometimes that, for learners, they're not quite sure what that means, but it means that you can study when you want and where you want. That doesn't mean that we don't have deadlines for learners to meet. It doesn't mean that there aren't requirements that you need to follow, but you don't have to study on Monday. You can study on Sunday. You can study on Wednesday. You can do it the way you want to. So you can take your classes more quickly than others, but you can't take them longer, right? You have to meet those requirements. You're online, so you're not necessarily seeing your instructor every day or your support system, but we have a 24/7 support service, and our learning success advisors are so helpful. They can help you get to the faculty. They can answer so many of your questions. It's wonderful to be able to have just at your fingertips some help and support. We have a BBA program and we have an MBA program. And that's what your degree is, but there are so many different areas of specialization. And that's really what's exciting. So you could get an AI specialization, cybersecurity, e-commerce. We now have a financial certificate or specialization. So that really helps you with catering your degree to what field that you may want to study in. Or it allows you to take a course in several different areas to help you understand what you may want to do next. The important piece for me is that Nexford is licensed by the Higher Education Learning Commission in Washington, D.C., and we're accredited by the Distance Education Accrediting Commission. You don't have to have accreditation to be able to offer programs. You must have licensure, but that accreditation piece took Nexford about 4 years to earn it. And what it does is it says to learners, this is a quality program. Every single program was reviewed by an outside reviewer. All of our processes were reviewed. So it's really a special and more intensive review of everything that Nexford does. Okay, why are we not going on? That's really odd. There we go. So just so you know, HELC is what we were talking about for licensure. DEAC is what we're talking about for accreditation. We've recently submitted our application to IACB, which is the International Accreditation Council for Business Education, and that's called programmatic accreditation. And the reason we did that is because it's another layer of review by an outside reviewer to say to our learners, we have really quality programs. And when you're making a decision as big as deciding what college or university you're going to go to, you want to know that it has that layer of approval. So let's talk a little bit about the programs that we have. So we have courses, individual courses. So for example, if you decided you wanted to just take a course, you wanted to feel what it was like, here are some examples of some of our courses. We have a World of Business course, branding and creative direction in our marketing department, software skills for digital product managers. So lots of different courses. This is just a sampling. Then we created something called Pathways, and we have 3 Pathways programs, and these are collections of courses. So if you think about it, essential skills, what are the skills you really need to understand business from the very beginning? What do you need for business essentials? What do you need for management essentials? And these range from 3 to 5 courses in each one of these pathways. It isn't a degree, but what it does is it allows you to sample our courses in a way that makes sense. And then when you enroll in a BBA program, an AAS program, or an MBA program, these courses will automatically transfer into your degree program. So it gives you the way to sample the programs and understand what you might do. Our undergrad certificates, and these are 4 courses: business analytics, digital transformation, product management, supply chain. Again, what is it you're interested in? What do you need the skills and knowledge to be able to go into a career and be successful? We also have graduate certificates, global business, corporate sustainability, financial analysis. So again, you can get a certificate. It's approved courses and credit bearing. So you could take those courses someplace else, transfer them in if you want, or you could transfer them into one of our degree programs. And our degree programs are Associate of Applied Business, Science and Business. We have a Bachelor of Business Administration. And by the way, everything you take in the associate degree transfers into the bachelor's program. So you take the associate degree, you're halfway there, and then you continue into the bachelor's program. We have an MBA program, Master of Business Administration. Then we just recently created 3 new programs and have launched them. A Master of Science in Digital Transformation, a Master of Science in Data Analytics, and a Master of Science in Entrepreneurship. And the reason that we started these programs is because we heard from learners. Learners said to us, hey, I want to start my own business. How do I do that? So we created a program that takes them from the very beginning of setting up what their idea is to being able to launch their idea to investors. Master of Science in Data Analytics, as we all know, data is where it is, right? If you don't know the data from your business, if you don't understand the data and you can't figure out what you are looking at, you aren't going to be able to create change. You're not going to be able to move forward. And digital transformation is really about that, right? How do we get into a digital world? And while it may sound funny to some of you because you're a bit younger maybe, and you're used to having all of the access to the computers and things, not every business does. And so this helps you if you're going into a business that needs to transform into the future. They need to get ready for 2025 and beyond. So what makes our academic model unique? So we take a learner on a journey that provides them with critical skills and abilities that are crucial in today's global workforce. It isn't about the history of how things happen. It isn't about what you used to know, but it's the skills you need now. And the way that we understand those is we have an advisory board, and we've done a lot of research, right? We've looked at our data. We know what the data says. But we have an advisory board that says to us, if you're going to be offering a Master of Science in Entrepreneurship, here are the skills that are critical right now to be successful as an entrepreneur. And that helps to guide us as we're creating our programs. Real world practice activities and assessments. We're not going to have you do pages and pages of research unless it's related specifically to the skills and knowledge you need to be current now. Learners engaging targeted content, industry resources, and business scenarios that have personal and professional meaning. And they highlight the why behind the learning, right? We've all taken courses that, I don't know why I need this, but we try and explain to you why you need this particular course. And we're paving the path for workplace alignment, relentless implementation based on facts and data. Okay, there we go. So we're a little bit different, right? Real world purpose in each course with global relevance. So when we created our courses, we didn't create them that they're just, here's what you have to know in the United States, but we looked at, here's what you need globally to know about what's happening to be successful in business. Industry relevance. As I said earlier, we have advisory board members from many different fields that give us advice and guide us in the skills that learners are going to need. Digital content and resources. You won't have any textbooks. The content will be right in your Canvas course. And we have access to an online library. So if you do need to do research and you need a place to do it, it's all digital. 24/7 support. And you can have one-to-one interactions with our success advisors as well as our faculty. We have a monthly tuition fee structure so that you can pay as you go. You don't have to pay up front, you pay each month. And it's very customer-centric. There's not a time limit on the refund policy. So everybody else, in our estimation, is generic content, theoretically based. And we think theory is important as well. But more and more, it isn't about the history of what happened. It's about what you need to move forward. Traditional textbooks, no personalized support, and limited refund policy. So if something happens and you are not at school, we will refund that. So here's the other thing. Every course and then every program is competency-based. That means when we do the assessments, we're asking you to put together a slide deck. We're asking you to do a presentation. We're asking you to analyze. We're asking you to do things that you will do in a career and in the real world. So again, some of the courses include transportation and logistics, supply chain, world of business, strategic human resources, and you get to pick and choose some of those courses as your electives. There are some courses and then core courses, and then there are electives. So what do our learner surveys say? We do a couple different kinds of surveys. We do an end of course survey. At the end of every course, our learners fill out a survey. We do a graduation survey. So after learners have graduated, they tell us what they think. And we're also doing alumni survey. So in 6 months, are you using the skills? In 12 months, are you using the skills? Have you gotten a new job? We want to know because we want to continue to improve our programs. So 90% of learners would recommend Nexford to a friend or colleague considering earning an MBA. 96% of learners found that their Nexford education prepared them for their current job or future career. 94% of learners found that they achieved the goal that they set out to achieve when they enrolled. 98% of learners were satisfied with the studies at Nexford. And 99% of learners found that the courses encouraged them to think critically, not just to memorize and then to respond. So what are some of the things that the learners have said about us? So tell me if your Nexford education has been valuable. It's enabled me to secure a very good job in an international organization, something I would not achieve if I'd not graduated from Nexford. It's helped me to have a much wider understanding of global business and how it can be sustainable. It improved my understanding of business processes and the role of artificial intelligence in boosting business performance through data. We actually have an AI policy, and we say to learners, AI is the way of the world, right? As we continue to move forward. That doesn't mean that you can use AI to submit all of your assignments, but you can use AI to help you. And we allow that. Up to 25% of your presentations can be created and supported and reviewed through AI. My analytical skills have greatly improved and my self-confidence raised to 100%. My Nexford journey has exposed me to innovative ways of learning that have been practical and applicable to my work and life in general. It's equipped me with the knowledge and skills I need to pursue my career and to be able to think critically. So our learners are happy. And if our learners weren't happy, then we wouldn't be successful, because we don't have success unless you have success. Here are some of the global brands that employ our learners. And as you can see, there's a lot of them. And they're all across the world. Some are US based, some are not. So that's what I wanted to tell you about Nexford. There's a lot going on here, and there's a lot going on with our learners. But those are the basics of what it is Nexford's about. So now we're open for some questions.
Thank you so much. I think that was very insightful. I've got some questions of my own. I've also received some questions by email and some on the comments facility as well. Just a reminder, please feel free to type any of your questions into the comments facility. We will answer those questions. I think this is a webinar specifically focused on GED students and GED graduates. So I think a very important question is, can a GED graduate apply and be accepted to study at Nexford?
Absolutely. There are a few other requirements. One is that you need to be an English speaker. So you either need to have been taught in English or you can pass one of the English speaking skills, but that's an important piece. But yes, absolutely. We already accept GED graduates in our programs.
So, I mean, the GED is only available in English, and one of the subjects is English. And so I would assume that that qualifies the students to have a level of English that would be required for your courses. So that's a good thing. Are there any specific scores that are required, or as long as they have passed all 4 exams, then they will be able to be accepted?
Yeah, as long as they've passed all 4 exams, they'll be able to be accepted. If they have scores that are higher, we would take a look at some transfer credits for that. But at a minimum, they have to have passed all 4 of the tests.
I think that's a really important comment. It was actually my next question, because the GED exams have been reviewed by ACE, and so
Right.
there is ACE credit available. So essentially, if they really do well in their GED exams, they will have credits already potentially credits already towards a Nexford degree.
That's correct.
And obviously, the degrees that can be applied for, I'm assuming master's and MBA is not one of them. You have to have an undergraduate degree first.
Correct.
So which are the degrees that we need to do?
They could apply for an associate degree. They could apply directly into a bachelor's degree. They could take one of the pathway programs at the bachelor's level, or they could take the undergrad certificate courses if they just wanted a certificate.
Okay, good. I just want to clarify.
Sorry, Sean, I was about to say, I'm going to jump in there and say, associate degree and bachelor's degree is not an internationally understood differentiation. Do you mind explaining the difference?
It's actually very simple. An associate degree means that you have completed half of the credits required to get a bachelor's degree. And in the United States specifically, there are many organizations that want to know that you have been able to successfully complete a degree. Doesn't have to be a bachelor's degree. They want that learners are demonstrating the commitment and the responsibility for completing half of the degree. Then you just continue taking the additional courses and you can get your bachelor's degree. And sometimes for learners, bachelor's degrees can take up to 4 years to complete. It depends on how quickly you work. And for some learners, it's easier to take it in steps. And that's what the associate degree allows you to do. You walk away with something. That's part of our stackable credential model. You take the associate degree, then everything from the associate degree will transfer into the bachelor's degree. You walk away with 2 degrees. While it doesn't have as much meaning globally, it does have meaning in the US. And if you want to get jobs there, an associate degree helps, and then a bachelor's degree. And then, of course, once you've completed your bachelor's degree, you're eligible for any of our master's programs. You could take an MBA, you could take the Master of Science in Entrepreneurship, you can take any of our master's degrees once you graduated from the bachelor's. So we just continue to stack the degrees together to allow you to reach your goals. That was a good question. Thank you, Lindsay.
And I think if we equate it to South Africa, for example, is your associate degree would be your undergrad, your bachelor's would be your undergrad plus your honors, which makes it 4 years. And then from that, you go into the master's. So that just gives it a bit of local. It
does. And, we actually have a crossover program for learners that have just completed their 3-year bachelor's degree in South Africa. They have to take 10 additional courses and they'll have their bachelor's degree. So yes, that's a perfect way to equate it. And that makes really great sense.
Yeah, it's something that's just not understood in general, because an associate degree has never been heard of outside of America. But yes, it's very important. And thank you, Lindsay, for clarifying that. So I think a big part of and a big advantage to GED students is, number one, that the model is very, very similar in that you can study at your own pace, you study online, you can write exams whenever you're ready, and so you can finish as quickly as you want to or take your time. It's really up to you, and it's all done online. And so it's a very, very similar model, and especially the fact that critical thinking is a massive part of the GED. You cannot learn off by heart and expect to pass. So I think flowing through from graduating with a GED and moving on to any one of your programs makes a lot of sense for GED graduates, because they'll be very well aware of the procedures and how to study, because they're already very used to studying online and at your own pace, etc. So I think it's a great fit for GED graduates.
So let's talk about our term structure, because I think that's an important piece that you're bringing out here. So Nexford has intakes every month, but a Nexford term is 2 months. So you can follow the Nexford term structure and you can take 2 months to complete a course, or you can do an accelerated pathway and complete a course in 1 month. It's up to you how you want to do it. We also have some learners that have now decided they take 1 course every single month rather than 2 courses in a 2-month term. So that's part of that flexibility piece, knowing yourself, knowing how you work. Is it better if you're just focusing on one area, one content area each month, or would you rather spend a couple of months on a couple different content areas? I think it gives you the ability to make some decisions about your education, which I think is really important in today's world.
And I think part of that is that it can fit into your schedule, into your work schedule, based on how you study, how your office hours, etc. Yeah, so I would like to ask some questions now that we have received. The first question comes from Shanae. She says, "Good afternoon. Can my daughter apply for a bursary after completing her GED? Is it possible to get a bursary from you?"
I don't know what you mean by a bursary.
I think, Lindsay, do you want to take it? A scholarship. Yeah.
Oh, yes, there are scholarships available.
How does that work? Can you talk us through some of them?
Yeah, it works in the enrollment phase. You will work with your Nexford advisor to talk through the programs, to look at the options, and then they will talk with you a little bit about what the financing may look like, and you can apply for a scholarship during that process.
Okay, that's good to know. And I think just following on that, after the webinar in the next day or so, we will be sending out an email to everyone that did register for the webinar, as well as we'll post it on social media. We'll post both the recording, but not only the recording, we'll also post the links so that you can start your application process. So you can literally just click on the links and start your application, because as you said, there are terms starting every second month, so you can literally start very shortly, should you wish.
Terms start every single month, so they're kind of overlapping, right? We just had a start March 1st. We'll have another start April 1st. So we have terms that are starting every single month.
That's amazing. So you could literally finish off your GED in the next 2 weeks and be studying your first subject for your bachelor's degree in 2 weeks' time. So that's really on the 1st of April. So that's really an amazing thing. I think very, very flexible from that perspective. Here's another question. I think you've actually already answered it, but I'll ask it anyway. From Evan. It says, must one first complete a Bachelor of Business Administration before you can move on to the Master of Business Administration?
So we can talk about that a little bit, but if you are interested in, you can complete a Bachelor of Business Administration and be accepted directly into an MBA. If you, and this is obviously your choice, let's say you go somewhere else and you take a bachelor's degree, it might not be a bachelor's degree in business administration. But as long as you've completed a bachelor's degree, you could still enroll in Nexford's MBA, but there are some foundational business courses that you might have to take first. But typically the path would be a Bachelor of Business Administration, move into an MBA. Excellent. And Maya, I see that you've joined. Please correct anything or add any other additional information that you think learners might need to know.
Welcome, Maya. So taking that a little bit further, you mentioned that there were some individual subjects or courses that you can do that's not part of a degree, and then you can transfer that into a degree eventually. One of them that was really interesting is your Master's in Entrepreneurship, the Master of Science in Entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. Do you have, because it's really, it's become a really popular topic. Everyone wants to know how can they set up their own business and how can they start their business. Do you offer individual courses on entrepreneurship that is at a bachelor level?
Actually, we do have a couple of courses at the bachelor's level in entrepreneurship. They're kind of introductory courses. I think one is called Introduction to Entrepreneurship, to be honest with you. So yes, we do have a couple of courses at the bachelor's level, and then the program would be at the whole program is at the master level.
Okay, great. That's excellent. Here's one for you. How long is the studies for an associate degree?
Well, an associate degree is 60 credits. Each course is 3 credits. So that means that you would be taking 20 courses. Typically, it should be done in about 18 months to 24 months, depending upon whether you want to accelerate your pathway or move a little bit slower.
So the traditional time is 2 years.
2 years.
But because of the model that you offer, you can actually do it as quickly as you want to. So you can
almost, yeah. Yes, we allow learners to take 3 courses at a time. And there are some learners that have applied directly, and you apply directly to me to say, hey, I'm doing really well. I want to get this finished by X date. Could I take 4 courses? And then we review your record. We take a look at how you're doing. And sometimes learners are allowed to take 4 courses. But yes, you can accelerate your pace.
Now, just a really practical question that I got by email. During the application process, because I mentioned that we're going to be sending out a link that you can use to begin your application, you would obviously be asking for a GED Graduates diploma of some sort. How do you ask for that? Is it a PDF version that they can supply? Do you verify directly with the GED? What is the process that they're going to have to follow to submit their GED diploma?
I will honestly tell you, I don't know the answer to that question. My mate might be better able to answer it. But we typically want an official document. So if it's verifiable by going directly to a website, and we've got permission from the learner to do that, we could do that. I don't know about the PDF version unless it's considered an official document. Mai, do you have anything else to add to that?
Hi, Kathy. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm just having a lot of internet issues on my end. Can you please can have the question repeated for me?
The question was about how would learners submit their GED certificate to us? How would we ask for it to be submitted?
Yes, this would be done in the application portal itself. Yes, online. So,
and would we accept
anything...
a PDF version, or do we need an official version?
Do we need a PDF version, or what? Sorry, it cut off again. I'm so sorry.
Can we use a PDF version, or do we need an official version if they're different?
I do believe we need an official one, but to be honest, this is more on admission side. Yes,
I can probably
jump
in here and help. So when a student credentials with the GED in terms of their pass or 4 tests, they emailed a link to download their electronic transcript and diploma, which is in PDF, which is a PDF Sean's talking about. They can also apply to get the hard copy. Another option is some institutions request that the GED through Parchment, which is our third party, send their transcript or diploma directly to the university. So there are multiple options depending on the institution's preference, but they can either have it where the GED sends it direct to email address at Nexford, or the PDF that Sean refers to is their actual official diploma and transcript, which they've gone in and downloaded.
And there's a way to upload it during the application process. And typically,
and it's got all its safety features on it. But if you need a more official without the touch of a student, there is that option where we can send it direct to Nexford.
Perfect. Thank you.
Now Gabby is asking, where can I get a full list of all your different courses? As I said, we will be sending out an email. So if you did register, look out for that email. If not, you can email us on info@ged.org.za. We will put it in the comments facility, and we will ensure that you do get a link to all the different courses so that you can apply for whatever you like.
Yes, and if you go to our website, it lists all of our programs and courses. I did talk a little bit about Pathways programs. If you're interested in a Pathway program, you would want to actually email directly to the Nexford advisors, because those aren't typically on our website because there are different groups of them. But all of our associate, our bachelor's, all of the master's degrees, the undergraduate certs and the graduate certs are all listed on our website. And when you click on the program, it'll actually tell you the courses that's in it, and it will give you a description. Additionally, on our website, if you go to the very bottom, you can click on something called the academic catalog, and the academic catalog will list all of the programs, all of the features, the course descriptions as well. So there are a couple of different ways to get that information.
And we will communicate all of that in the next day or two. I think I just want to clarify something for all the South African GED graduates that are watching this. It's often very concerning that students know that the university they're applying to, whether it's a public or a private university, that it is regulated and it's not a fly-by-night university. Now, in South Africa, as everyone knows, you're able to go to the South African Qualifications Authority's website and look up to see whether a university or a college is accredited and regulated. Now, in America, it's different. However, I want to just clarify for everybody that what Dr. Plunkett said was that Nexford is DEAC accredited. Now, DEAC is really, it's a body very similar to SAQA. They do quality assurance, and they do quality assurance specifically for universities that offer distance learning, which is what Nexford does. And so because they are accredited by DEAC, which I have no doubt you can go to the DEAC website and look them up, you can be very comfortable in knowing that signing up and studying with Nexford, you're in good hands, and you don't have to worry about fly-by-night or your money disappearing or whatever it may be. It's an amazing accreditation to receive, and as Dr. Plunkett said, not only are they DEAC accredited, but they're also going through processes of additional accreditations. So you're in good hands.
And you can go to the DEAC website. You can go to the Department of Education, DOE website, and that will show that we're accredited. You can actually go to the HELC website that shows our licensure. So we'll show up in all of those different places so that proves that we've gone through all of the right licensure and accreditation.
Excellent. Lindsay, is there anything else you want to add?
Thanks, Sean. I think it's great in terms of Nexford TIE is a great transition for students doing the GED, because students doing the GED are typically used to the flexibility of the GED and studying online. And Nexford really gives them that opportunity to continue in that way for tertiary education. And it gives them the option of such a nice variety of courses. For me, the most important thing is that DEAC accreditation, and that Nexford's affordable. For a lot of GED students, affordability is a big decider. So you're looking at a flexible, affordable, and accredited online university where you can really take your skills that you've learned in the GED and apply them for further studies.
Thank you. That was a great endorsement, Lindsay. I appreciate that. I didn't hear you very well, but I think you were asking if there's anything else I want to add. Here's what's coming next, right? We already have some career support. We have a career course that learners can take, but we're actually expanding on that. We have a new career strategy that will be in place in the next 6 months to continue and expand on how we can help learners, once they've gotten their degree, to get connected with employers. No university can promise that you're going to get employed or that we're going to place you. That's not what we're saying. But what we are saying is that we're going to offer you additional career support, because we know that that's the reason that most learners are going to school, right? Because they want to better their career, get a different career, enhance their skills, and we want to be able to help to do that. So we anticipate some new and exciting features coming in the next few months.
Well, that sounds really exciting. And thank you, Dr. Plunkett. Thank you, Lindsay, for all your feedback and input. And we will be making this webinar available as a recording with all the information that we've promised in all the different links. Thank you so much to everybody for joining us. Have a wonderful afternoon and an evening. And we look forward to you studying further with Nexford in the 1st of April.
Oh, we really do. Thank you so much. It was my pleasure. It's always fun for me to talk about